Judge Malapproach and give this.
Yes, sir.
Officer Gordon, let me ask you to step down off that witness stand, because I'm going to hold up a map and ask you to explain where you were and what was going on. You'll get down, I'm going to hold this so the jury can see. Now, you say you were through eating and you were headed north on Barnett Road. Will you show us, does Barnett Road show up on?
Yes, sir.
Will you please show us where you were?
Right.
Okay, you were headed in a northerly direction?
Yes, sir. North.
That would be toward the.
Towards Southwest Parkway.
Did anything unusual occur at that time that causes you to be in the courtroom?
Yes, sir.
What happened?
We had a call for check suspicious that popped up on our MDT.
Okay, we had a call. Who is we?
The PD police department.
All right, you were a police officer in the city of Wichita Falls. You got that call. Is that correct?
Correct. Everybody would be able to see that.
And it was for a suspicious person. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir. At Fountain Gate.
A suspicious person at Fountain Gate.
Yes, sir.
Can you show us Fountain Gate?
Fountain Gate's right here.
Fountain Gate is an apartment complex.
Yes, sir.
When you received that call, where were you?
Whenever I received the call, I was approximately right in here.
Right there, around the south entrance to Fountain Gate somewhere?
Correct.
What information did you receive?
I saw a call pop up for check suspicious at Fountain Gate Apartments, and at that time, I advised the dispatch more information on that call, because I was right in front of Fountain Gates at that time.
And did you receive more information?
Yes.
What information did you receive?
They advised that a caller had called in and advised that a white male with a shoulder length carriage had went into an unknown apartment carrying a rifle in a hurry, and that he was coming back out and getting into a gold auto.
Did that description of the individual as well as the vehicle alert you to anything?
Yes, sir. That morning in briefing, we were advised that a white male with a shoulder length, possibly shaggy hair, used a rifle in the murder that was committed 2 days prior to that, and the suspect vehicle was a gold Tahoe.
So that kind of fit the description, is that correct?
Correct.
When you received that information, what did you do?
Whenever I received that information, I turned into the north entrance right here. You have the south entrance and north entrance off of Barnett, and I turned into the north entrance right there.
Officer Gordon, I think Senator George can't see.
I'm sorry.
So you turned into the northern entrance to Fountain Gate Apartments. I know you haven't been in here. You're not supposed to listen to the other testimony if you've listened to any other testimony.
No, sir.
So if the dispatcher said, if someone called and said, we're here at the Fountain Gate Apartments, and the dispatcher said, we have an officer that just turned in, that conceivably could have been you, is that correct?
Correct.
Why did you turn into the Fountain Gate Apartments?
Because by the time I'd received that information, I'd already passed the south entrance.
So you were looking for that vehicle then in the Fountain Gate Apartment complex?
Correct.
When you pulled in, did you drive through the complex and look for the vehicle?
No, sir.
Why?
Because by the time I was turning in, we're getting updated information that the gold Tahoe was going towards Barnett Road. And I was already on the north entrance, and he obviously did not pass me. So the only other entrance he could have gone through was the south entrance.
You're told he's headed toward Barnett Road.
Yes,
So
sir.
Fountain Gate Apartments, there's a north entrance on the Barnett Road and a south entrance on the Barnett Road.
Yes, sir.
If you're coming in the north entrance and you didn't see the vehicle, you assume he's going out the south entrance.
Correct.
Is that what you did?
Yes, sir.
So what did you do at that time?
I turned back around and went back onto Barnett.
Where did you turn around? Can you show us on
Yes, sir. Turned around approximately in this area and went back towards Barnett right there.
And when you arrived at Barnett Road, you can go north or south, is that correct?
Correct.
Which direction did you go?
I went north after looking southbound, and I could see pretty far distance down that road, and I didn't see the vehicle. So going northbound, there is a little bit of a steep decline right there, and I couldn't see past that point. So that's the reason why I went northbound.
So you could see no vehicle south, although you could see quite a way.
Yes.
You couldn't see that far north because of the rise in the road, so you went north.
Correct.
And when you went north and came over the rise, did you see the vehicle you were looking for?
Yes, I observed the gold Tahoe there right there at the southwest and Barnett Road.
All right, here at Barnett Road and Southwest Parkway.
Yes, sir.
What did that vehicle do after you observed it?
After it came to that intersection, it turned eastbound on Southwest Parkway.
Headed this way?
Yes, sir.
What did you do?
I let a couple vehicles go by me first, and then I was able to catch up to the vehicle at Trinidad in the southwest.
And you said you let a couple of vehicles go by you. What was that?
Because I was in the left-hand lane, and the Tahoe was in the right-hand lane, and there was about 3 or 4 cars behind it.
So you let those cars clear, and then you made the turn to follow the gold Tahoe?
Yes, sir.
Did you have a license number for that Tahoe?
Yes, dispatch advised that it was Delta Victor Hotel 6808.
All right, you can have a seat. Once you fell in behind that vehicle, were you able to confirm the license number?
Yes, sir, at Trinidad and Southwest.
So after doing that, what did you do?
After doing that, I confirmed the tag with dispatch, and it was the correct tag. So after going another block, Cypress and Southwest, that's when I activated my emergency lights.
And what was the purpose in activating your emergency lights?
To have the Gold Tahoe to pull over.
And did that gold Tahoe pull over?
Yes.
Where?
At the 2711 Southwest Parkway, which is known as our Southwest Plaza.
So the vehicle, the gold Tahoe, pulled into the parking lot of a shopping center area, would that be fair to say?
Yes, sir.
And what did you do?
Pulled up behind it, just like I normally do on a traffic stop.
And then what did you do?
Make contact with the driver.
How many people were in that vehicle?
Just one.
And when you made contact with the driver, did you approach the driver's window or passenger side? What did you do?
Driver's side.
And what did you do or say when you approached the driver?
I made contact with the driver, identified who I was, and got his license and insurance and explained to him briefly why he was being stopped.
Okay, so you asked for a driver's license
Yes, sir.
and he gave it to you.
Yes, sir.
You asked for a proof of insurance
Yes, sir.
and you received it. So you went to check it out.
Correct.
When you approached the driver, did you notice anything unusual about him as far as nervous or casual?
He had both hands on top of the part of the steering wheel, and he had it grasped hard enough that the right forearm was actually shaking.
Appeared to be somewhat tense.
And
Would that be
nervous.
fair to say?
Yes, sir.
Tense and nervous. What did you tell him then? You asked for the proof of insurance, you asked for the driver's license, he gave, did you tell him why you stopped him?
Yes, sir.
What did you tell him?
I just advised him that we received a suspicious call or suspicious person call from Fountain Gate, and your vehicle matched the description that was given to us.
Did you ask him if he had any weapons or?
Yes, I did.
What did he say?
He advised me, no, he didn't, and he was already giving me consent to search the vehicle before I even asked for him.
So he told you, you can search my vehicle.
Yes.
You didn't have to ask him anything.
No, sir.
And then what did you do? Take his driver's license and proof of insurance?
Yes, I believe I actually gave his insurance back to him, and then I went back to my car, did a records check, make sure he's cleared all stations, and make sure he's got a valid driver's license.
And you checked out on that, would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Okay, and then what did you do?
Made contact with the driver again.
For what purpose?
After making sure he's clear all stations, made contact again to further investigation and also give his license back to him.
And was all this recorded on your in-car video?
Yes.
Is that the- Judge Knapp, have these items. Yes, sir. Good stuff on that. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Thank you. Officer Gordon, let me show you what's been marked for identification purposes. States Exhibit 243, States Exhibit 244, and States Exhibit 245. Now, have you seen these exhibits before? 243 being a full copy of the video your car had that day at the stop. 244 being a redacted copy that goes through a period of time, a shorter period of time than the entire video. And then 245, which would be a copy of the occurrence in the back seat of your vehicle. Have you seen these?
No, I've not seen those DVDs.
You have not seen them?
No, not the DVDs itself.
Okay. Have you seen the in-car video portrayed somewhere?
Yes.
Where?
On my MDT.
What's that?
On my computer, sorry.
Oh, okay. Have you looked at it at the DA's office?
Yes.
Okay. And when you looked at it at the DA's office, did they throw a disc in the computer and let you see it there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you look at these, can you tell us if these would be true and exact copies then of what you were shown and what you had looked at in your car?
Yes, sir.
And you have a car that has a system in it that just electronically captures audio and video,
Yes.
correct? And how is that done? How is that recovered from you?
It's an L3 communication system. So once we stop the recording, Once we get on the back lot of the PD, it then downloads to the server.
Okay. And then you can look at it later.
Yes, sir.
And have you done that many times on other cases?
Yes.
And have the recordings always been accurate?
Yes, sir.
There's two ways we can do this. I can have him look at it and say, hey, that's what I saw, or I can take a break, he can look at these things, and then tell us. Yeah.
How long are those?
The original is probably 50, 55 minutes. Which I'm offering, so it's there, but I'm showing you one that's probably about 12 to 13 minutes, and then one that's 20 seconds. How do you want to do it?
So you're gonna need to look at those before he testifies any further about those?
Yes, but he can look at it with the court's permission and defense counsel's permission, and well, after he looks at it, he can say that's it, and then I'll offer it into evidence. But I don't want to offer something he can't say or not it right now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please step to the jury and let's do this real quickly, Mr. Poole. Let's stop him.
States exhibits 244 and 245 are the jury results, is that correct?
Correct.
And they truly and accurately depict what they seek to represent, which is a conversation as well as audio that they have there. When you stop the defendant, is that right?
Yes, sir.
When you stop the defendant, you approach him and you talk to him, did he appear to respond to your questions appropriately?
Yes.
Did he relate details about where he had been and even why he had been at his parents' house over there at Fountain Gate?
Yes.
Did he appear to be responding to any kind of hallucinations or delusions, anything of that nature?
No, sir.
Did he tell you he was hearing voices
No, sir.
beside you? Did you mark this? Let me show you what's been marked for identification purposes. State's exhibit number 246. Can you identify this?
Yes, sir.
What is it?
That'd be the subject that I stopped today.
Okay. Does he look different in the courtroom today?
Yes, sir.
Can you point out the subject you stopped back on September 4th, 2016, there in the parking lot of that shopping center?
Yes, now he's got longer hair that goes down to his chest and he's wearing a blue shirt.
All right. Sitting at the table over here?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, you let the record reflect this witness has identified the defendant, Kody Lott, in open court.
The record will so reflect.
And we will offer at this time State's exhibit number 246.
Subject to the court's prior ruling, no objection.
It's admitted.
May I show it to the jury?
Yes, sir.
I bet I can. Let me show you what's been admitted into evidence in State's Exhibit 246. Can you identify that?
Yes, sir.
What is it?
It's a picture of Kody Lott.
Is that a picture of what he looked like on the day you arrested him?
Yes, sir.
Somewhat different from today, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Your Honor, at this time, I will pass the witness for cross-examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just really briefly, officer. Really briefly, officer, when you approached the vehicle, you said Kody was shaking. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir.
And then he almost immediately suggests that you search his car,
While I was speaking with him.
very early in the conversation.
Yes,
Before you asked to search his car.
correct.
And this is a car that had just been used for a shooting not less than 48 hours before,
Possibly, yes.
and a car that contained a prohibited weapon.
Yes,
That's the one he just jumped in and said, you can search my car,
yes,
or something along those lines.
yes.
That's the witness.
Anything else, Mr. Poole?
Yes, Judge, I'm going to show the video. I'm going to admit these into evidence or offer them for evidentiary purposes. And I've got the knuckles he was just asked about, as well as the cell phone. You want to do that now?
I'm not going to watch the videos till Monday morning, but if you've got things you want to offer as evidence, go ahead.
I'm going to offer State's Exhibit 243, 244, and 245.
Subject to the court's prior ruling, no objection, Your Honor.
They are admitted subject to the court's prior ruling.
And we'll show those Monday, Your Honor. When you approach the defendant, you ask him to get out of the car, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
At that point in time? And that was after you looked at his driver's license and his proof of insurance?
Correct.
You checked him out?
Yes, sir.
Then you approach and ask him to get out of the car. Why? Why did you want him out of the car?
Because I was getting consent once again to search a vehicle.
Or did he consent to your search of the vehicle originally?
Yes,
And then you went and did a driver's license check, approached the vehicle. Did you ask him if he was still consenting to a search of his vehicle?
yes,
And was his vehicle searched?
yes, sir.
And was anything found in the search of that vehicle?
Yes, brass knuckles.
Okay. And who found the brass knuckles originally?
And Officer Robeson.
Did Officer Robeson back you up on this case?
Yes,
As far as the shop of the defendant?
yes, sir.
And when you received consent to search, did Officer Robeson go to the passenger side of the vehicle?
Correct.
And you stayed on the driver's side, is that correct?
Correct.
Did you search on the driver's side?
Yes.
After Officer Robeson found brass knuckles, did he say anything to you?
Yes, he advised me where he located it.
And where were the brass knuckles?
Passenger seat or passenger front in a black gym bag with red trim.
And did he leave those brass knuckles in that bag?
Yes.
And did you get them out of the bag?
Yes, sir.
Why?
Because I was taking custody of the prohibited weapon.
Let me show you State's Exhibit 235, a plastic bag, and I'll represent out of that. I took State's Exhibit 236. State's Exhibit well, this is not marked. Let me show you what's been marked for identification purposes. Also, State's Exhibit 247. Can you identify this?
Yes, sir.
What is it?
It's an evidence bag that I dated and signed with the evidence.
And what was in that bag?
The brass knuckles.
Okay. I just had the brass knuckles. Judge, we just had the brass knuckles, and are they in there? Okay. State's Exhibit 236. What is that?
Let me go open.
Yes.
This would be the gold brass knuckles that was in that bag, in the gym bag.
And how can you identify them?
They're golden colored, and then also they have a skull on the knuckle part.
Judge, this time the state will offer into evidence State's Exhibit number 236 and its content.
No, subject to the court's prior ruling, no objection, Your Honor.
State's Exhibit 236 is admitted.
That's what it is. Mark this. Those two.
Is that another?
Yes.
You know, it's marked it. Correct?
I think so. Yeah, of course, it's looking at that. Let me show you what's been marked for identification purposes. State's Exhibit 248 and State's Exhibit 249. Can you identify these?
Yes, this was his cell phone that he had on him.
Did you see it when you arrested him back on September 4th, 2016?
It's part of his personal items, so usually it goes with him to the jail.
And I'll show you State's Exhibit 248. What is this?
I mean, the case number and item numbers that it was turned in,
Okay. The what was turned in?
the cell phone.
And did you release custody of his cell phone to an Officer Jones?
Yes.
When was that done?
It would have been done at the station.
At the police station after the defendant was arrested?
Yes, after I arrested him for a prohibited weapon.
All right. This time we'll offer into evidence State's Exhibit 248 and State's Exhibit 249.
The same note, subject to no objection.
248, 249 are admitted subject to the prior ruling of the court.
At this time, I'll pass the witness for question.
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. You may step down and you may return to the trial files. Please don't talk about the case until the trial.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're recessed for the weekend. I appreciate it. We are still on the schedule that we talked about last week. We expect you to deliberate your verdict on Wednesday. Depending on specific witnesses' schedules today and tomorrow, we may have a little gap in the order of testimony, but we are on schedule for Wednesday. At that time, I'm going to ask you on Wednesday if you can come in at 8:30 so we can get a little start. And also, I'll remind you or tell you, if I haven't already told you, on deliberation day, we may have to work past 5 o'clock, depending on how things are going. So if there's any special arrangements you might need to make for after 5 on Wednesday, please go ahead and do that. Is the state ready to proceed?
State's ready, Your Honor.
Mr. Rasmussen, are you ready to proceed?
Ready,
Judge. Go ahead, Mr. Poole.
Your Honor, this time we'll show the State's Exhibit 244 to the jury that was admitted into evidence at the last of the proceedings.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Judge, may I just say for the record, this is Officer Gordon's video of leaving the apartment complex and pursuing the vehicle.
So noted.
They were Justice, I have a bomb at 624 East Drive, unprotected indicators front door.
Judge, I just also state for the record the entirety of that search can be seen in State's Exhibit number 243 by the jury if they so choose. Judge, next I'm going to play 245, which is a part of this in-car video thing, but it may save a little time if I bring in our next witness, who will help enhance the next portion. So he can see it. We'll call Sammy Reisner.
Reisner, do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Have a seat. Be sure and get close to that microphone if you would. The witness rule is in effect. I believe you understand the witness rule, but to remind you, you can only be in here during your own testimony, and you can't talk with anyone other than the lawyer for the trial. So,
Yes, sir.
go ahead, Mr. Poole.
Thank you, Your Honor. State your name, please.
My name is Sammy Reisner.
How are you employed?
I'm one of the principals at DesignWorks Group.
What is DesignWorks Group?
We're a full-service marketing agency. We do have a digital video and audio suite. We've been in business for 36 years.
And what are your duties primarily with DesignWorks?
Well, I'm one of the principals, so obviously I handle a lot of the business side of it, but I also do a lot of the production, as well as we do a lot of enhancing on video and audio as well, and I'm primarily responsible for that.
What's the educational background you have in order to entitle you to go on these types of jobs?
I have a computer science degree with a minor in mathematics and accounting. Probably for approximately 24 years, I've been enhancing video and audio, as well as doing demonstrative evidence for like crime scene reenactments, computer animations, those types.
But you were enhancing video before there was software for the thing, is that correct?
I was creating animations to illustrate different scenarios, whether it's a product or an accident.
Are you experienced in forensic audio analysis?
Yes.
What is forensic audio?
Essentially, you take audio samples, and if the signal has a lot of noise in it, you clean the noise out, raise level so people can hear things better, just analyze it to see what you can hear in it, if you can make anything that's any dialogue that's audible so that it can be heard better.
You have done that on a few or many occasions?
Many, many occasions over the last 24 years.
Have you done that in civil as well as criminal trials?
I have.
In criminal trials, have you done that strictly for the state of Texas, or have you also worked against attorneys and things like that?
I've worked for FBI, OSI.
What's OSI?
It's a special investigation organization. It was in Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
As well as I've done work for the Texas Rangers, multiple district attorneys, around the area and in the state, criminal defense lawyers. I've done work for the public defender's office in Wichita County on multiple occasions.
They're the ones defending this case.
Yes, sir.
So they caught you as a witness.
Yes, sir.
I want to ask you to watch an exhibit that we're about to play, and then I'll ask you some questions.
Yes, sir.
Judge, may I throw this to you?
Yes, sir.
Have you seen that exhibit before?
I have.
Where? What were the circumstances that you've seen that exhibit?
A Wichita County criminal district attorney investigator brought me the video, asked if it was possible for me to enhance the audio to where you could hear what is being said in the back of the police cruiser.
And is there a process by which you can go through to enhance that audio portion?
Yes, sir.
Please describe the process for the jury.
In this case, the goal was to raise the audio levels to where you could hear what was actually being said. In doing so, obviously you introduce a lot of noise as you increase the volume. So the strategy I took in this case was I took a noise sample, part of the signal, which was strictly the ambient noise in the cruiser, created basically a noise print to show the software what noise looked like. Then I processed the signal to where actually the very first thing I did was I raised the levels so that the amplitude was higher. Then I took the noise sample. Then I processed the audio to remove the noise as much as possible.
Are there various processes you can use to enhance the audio?
There are. Depends on what the noise, what causes the noise. Sometimes there's crackle and pops. Sometimes there's background noise, sirens, those type of things. And then sometimes it's just white noise or ambient noise that you hear. And depending on the type of noise, you approach it differently.
Were you able to enhance the audio portion of what we just saw in State's Exhibit number 245?
I was.
Judge, now approach and have an item on.
Yes, sir.
And may I approach the witness? Mr. Reisner, let me show you what's been marked for identification purposes in State's Exhibit number 251. Can you identify that exhibit and its contents?
Yes, this is a DVD disc that I burned the enhanced audio file to. Actually, it's a video file that contains the enhanced audio.
Your Honor, at this time, the State will offer into evidence State's Exhibit number 251.
All right, take this witness.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Reisner, you said you did an ambient, you created an ambient disc, is that correct?
No. What I said was that there are different types of noise. There's always audio in a room. The ambient sound of the room. In this case, there was ambient noise in the vehicle, whether it was the air conditioner or just the wind. And so as I raise the audio levels, that also is raised. So the ambient noise is raised.
Did you try to filter that out by any means?
I filtered it out using noise reduction.
And what about the voice? Did that alter any voice?
What it will do is, depending on the level of noise reduction, there are certain parameters you set where you smooth the actual noise signal, or there's what's called a spectral decay that determines when you get so far off a noise floor how it deals with the noise from that point on, which it'll fade it out. If you do too high level of a noise reduction, it will introduce something known as artifacting, which will give it can give it a tinkling, a little burbly sound, or even sometimes reverb, depending on the level. So you have to find that fine level to where you hear what you want to hear and are willing to accept the artifacting with it. Now, if you're removing noise for like a broadcast, audio for broadcast purposes, obviously you don't want artifacting in it. In this case, my job was to find out what was being said. So a little bit of artifacting is acceptable, because one thing that noise reduction will not do is it will not add words to the audio.
Okay. So there is some artifacting in this,
There is some artifacting.
and but that's inescapable if you want to project it here.
Well, you can reduce the artifacting, but in doing so, what you do is you leave a considerable amount of the noise in as well. So you can't just make it harder to hear what you're really playing.
Is this a difficult process from your standpoint?
Well, again, it depends on the audio sample. It depends on what you're trying to remove. There are obviously different strategies involved, different techniques, and even different software to do different things. In this case, it was, it wasn't difficult because I have done this enough that I knew the strategy I needed to use. And so it took me a while, but I knew what I was doing.
I take it from your testimony it was a little bit of art form in doing this from your standpoint.
But what do you mean by art form?
Well, I mean, subjective judgment on your part.
As far as the technique that I'm going to use? Yes, but you try multiple techniques as well.
No objection.
Thanks, Exhibit 251 today.
Thank you. Based on the questions you just asked, it would be fair to say you were attempting to enhance the voice so we could hear the words spoken. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You weren't trying to give someone a radio or television personality voice.
No, sir. That's why I left some of the artifacting. I was more concerned with the actual signal we wanted to hear.
Judgment, we showed this to the jury.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Reisner, I heard on that, Jesus, help me, Jesus, forgive me. Did you add any of those words?
No, sir.
Did you add any words at all?
No, sir.
I think I'll ask that.
Mr. Rasmussen?
I heard Jesus. What was after that? Something horrible.
I could pretty much hear every word.
Good.
Yes.
That's what did you hear?
I heard, please, Jesus, help me. Please, Jesus. Please forgive me. Jesus, please, Jesus, forgive me. Please forgive me in the name of Jesus.
I asked if you added any words. Did you take any words out?
No, sir.
Was there any reference to Satan in there and you omitted that?
I didn't hear any, no, sir.
Thank you. I'll ask that.
That's what
Nothing further, man. This will just be excused.
So you're excused, you can turn this off, all of you can talk that case to your other process.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. State your name, please.
My name is Brad Love.
How are you employed?
Currently employed as a police officer with the Midwestern State University Police Department in Wichita Falls.
So Midwestern State has its own police department? is that
Yes.
How long have you been employed there?
About 6 months with Midwestern.
What did you do prior to that?
I was employed as a police officer with the Wichita Falls Police Department, and I retired from there about six months ago.
How long did you work in the Wichita Falls Police Department?
Close to 24 years.
What were the duties when you retired from the Wichita Falls Police Department?
Actually, when I retired, I was in patrol, but just prior to that, I had spent about 10 years in the crimes against persons section.
Crimes against persons, is that the section that basically investigates a crime where an individual is personally a victim?
That's correct.
Anything from a robbery to a homicide?
That is correct.
Were you involved in the Kody Lott murder?
Yes, I was.
In fact, did you obtain a search warrant for one place?
Yes, I did.
What place?
It would be the apartment at 5210 Tower, I believe apartment number 172.
Or 179?
Possibly, it's been
It's been a
it's been a
while.
while.
I just want to tie up a few things with you. May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Lott, can you identify the young girl shown in State's Exhibit Number 2?
Yes, sir, that would be Lauren Landavazo.
And can you identify the young girl shown in State's Exhibit 58?
That would also be Lauren Landavazo.
Since you obtained the search warrant for 5210 Tower Drive, apartment 179, or whatever the apartment was, were you on the premises the day that warrant was executed?
Yes, I was.
Or did you see the items that were obtained from the search warrant?
Yes, I did.
I want to show you what's been admitted into evidence is State's Exhibit Number 214B. Can you identify this?
Yes, sir, that is a firearm recovered from the residence, I believe from a gun cabinet inside the residence.
All right, anything unusual about that firearm that was there when you seized it?
Right, well, there's some dirt and some grass adhering to the sides of the firearm. Other than that, it's just standard 22 caliber AR-15 type firearm.
Okay, for purposes of the record, in this case, this is a firearm.
Yes.
Well, that's all I have, and I'll pass the witness.
Any questions?
Yes, Your Honor, briefly. In this case, did you identify who resides in that apartment?
Yes, we did.
And can you tell us who that was?
I don't remember the exact names. I know that's the parents or step-parent of Mr. Kody Lott.
Our next question. Did you learn who lots or owned the firearms?
To my recollection, Kody Lott's it's either his father or stepfather, I believe, owned it. I'm pretty sure.
Last witness.
You found out who owned it. Did you find out who had access to that apartment?
Yes, that's correct.
Did Kody Lott have access to the apartment?
Yes, he did.
Did Kody Lott have access to that firearm?
Yes, sir.
No matter who owned the apartment or lived there, he had access.
That's correct.
Thank you. I'll pass the witness.
Are you aware that Kody Lott admitted to having access to the apartment?
Yes.
When he was pulled over by police?
Yes.
Last witness.
You didn't need him to admit it, did you? You already knew. You had other evidence to prove it, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll pass it to you.
What kind of other evidence did you have?
Just information gathered from the investigation, from witnesses that saw him coming and going from the apartment, and from speaking to his brother.
Last witness.
You actually talked to other residents in the apartment complex?
Yes.
Quite a few of them?
Well, I briefly spoke to another resident that lived nearby. I do not recall that person's name, but also a witness who originally called the police department about the vehicle and suspicious activity.
And other officers actually made contact with other residents in the apartment complex?
Yes.
Apartment complex to talk to them about Kody Lott having access to the apartment?
That is correct, yes.
And Kody Lott having a gold Tahoe parked at the apartment?
That's correct, yes.
Thank you, I'll pass it to you.
We're all in agreement. No further questions, Your Honor.
Do you want to recall Officer Love? Maybe excused.
I would ask you to be excused, Your Honor.
No objection to that?
All right, thank you, sir. You may step down and try to get your call. Just going to talk about the case. Those effectively will get pretty close to that one.
Please state your name.
Lisa Patterson,
And how are you employed?
Wichita County Sheriff's Office,
How long have you been so employed?
13 years.
Can you give the jury a brief summary of your educational background and training?
I'm a jail administrator. I've got my intermediate jailer's license. I worked at the Sheriff's Office for 13 years. I worked in the jail and now I'm in administration.
And as jail captain, what are your duties?
I manage both the downtown and the annex facilities. I ensure we stay in compliance with TCJS standards. I maintain all the records, review phone calls, review uses of force and incident reports.
And so in Wichita County, we have, the whole jail system is called the detention center, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And then downtown is where the original jail was located, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And there's still inmates that are being housed on floor 4 and 5?
Yes, ma'am.
And then the bulk of inmates were, I'm not sure what year, but they were transferred out to an courthouse, a detention center out within the city or the county, but a little further away from downtown.
Yes, ma'am.
And you said that you are in charge of jail telephone calls?
Yes, ma'am.
In Wichita County, what type of system do we have regarding inmate jail telephone calls?
We use a provider called Global Link.
And we sometimes refer to that as GTL.
Yes, ma'am.
And in connection with your duties, do you have custody of and access to information contained in the computer system for the Wichita County Sheriff's Office and the Wichita County Detention Center, including jail telephone calls placed from inmates.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're the records custodian.
Yes, ma'am.
And does Wichita County have a contract with GTL regarding inmate telephonic communications?
Yes, ma'am.
And are the telephone calls recorded?
Yes, ma'am.
And do the inmates know that the telephone calls are recorded?
Yes, ma'am.
And how do they know?
It tells them.
So right before anything is said on a telephone call, there's a voice that comes on and lets the inmate and the caller, who the call is placed to, know that that telephone call is being recorded.
Correct.
Can you tell the jury how an inmate, when he's first booked into the Wichita County Jail, sets up their GTL account?
So when an inmate first comes into custody, they're given an SO number, which is their sheriff's office number. And when we are booking them in, doing their fingerprints and giving them their phone calls, we activate their GTL account, and they have their PIN number is their 5-digit SO number and then a 4-digit PIN. When we set the account up, it automatically generates a 4-digit PIN for them. When they make their first phone call and booking, they are able to change that PIN, and then only they know that PIN.
So each PIN chosen by an inmate is unique to that inmate.
Yes.
And then as far as the setup process, does the inmate use their own voice to indicate who they'll be calling?
Yes, it has, the system has them state their name.
And was that the same process used for Kody Lott?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is the process if an inmate in solitary wants to place a telephone call?
They ask the officer, and the officer brings them a telephone to their cell door.
So the telephone is not contained within their solitary cell?
Correct.
And was Kody Lott in solitary confinement?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you able to tell which inmate is calling a certain person?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you able sometimes to tell who the call is placed to by an inmate?
Yes, ma'am.
Madam Pro Tem?
Yes, ma'am.
Let me show you what's been marked as Court's Exhibit 3 and ask you if you can identify that.
Yes, ma'am. Those are 2 phone calls that Kody Lott made while in custody.
Okay. And did you create that document?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay. And I'm going to show you what's been marked for identification purposes as State's Exhibit 250 and ask you if you reviewed that.
Yes, ma'am, I did.
And is State's Exhibit 250 a true and accurate copy of the telephone call that Kody Lott placed on September 4th of 2016
Yes, ma'am, it is.
from the Wichita County Detention Facility?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
This time the state would offer Court's Exhibit 3 to court.
Submitted for record purposes.
And do you believe, at this time, the state would offer State's Exhibit 250?
I take this witness on the floor.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Patterson, State's Exhibit 250, what is on this?
It's the booking call.
And it's just a single call?
Yes, sir.
It was made on September 4th, 2016?
Yes, sir.
You're familiar, of course, with the date that this occurrence took place, the death of Warren Landavazo, is that right?
Familiar with it, yes.
It was September 2nd, is that right?
I believe so.
So this is 2 days after that, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And it's just a single call, is that right?
Yes, sir.
You know how long is this call?
I believe the booking phone calls are about 3 minutes.
State's Exhibit 50 minutes. I'm sorry, 250.
And Captain Patterson, State's Exhibit 250 is an excerpt that was taken from the computer system of GTL, correct?
That is correct.
And it was a business record
Yes, ma'am.
regularly kept in the course of business?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This time, I'd ask that we be allowed to publish this to the jury.
Yes, ma'am, you may.
number now. Please enter a new PIN number now. Please enter the area code and phone number you are calling now. Please hold. Please wait while your call is being connected. Hello, this is a free call from
Kody Lott.
an inmate at the Wichita County Jail. To accept this free call, press 0. To refuse this free call, hang up or press 1. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using GTL.
Hello. Hello. Is my mom in, Christy? Yeah, it's Brian. She's not really able to come right now. All right, well, did y'all hear about what happened after I went to go get the money that she had paid for me? No. Well, I mean, I was arrested on the murder of that girl and the shooting that happened. Yeah, did you do it? Did you do it? I confessed to it, yeah. Did you do it? Yeah, I did it. Why? I don't know. Did you do it or did you just confess to it? I did it. You did it. How'd you do that? I just did it, man. I don't know. I'm on three charges. I'm on three charges. Okay, I want to talk to my mom. She's right here. We're in the car. Let her talk.
What?
All right, that's all. We're just going to let y'all know. Yeah, so that's it.
Okay, so, I mean, you just messed up your whole life, so.
Yeah, well, it was already messed up, so I don't know.
Okay, well, I mean, have fun in jail and stuff and for the rest of your life now.
Well, have fun not having to ask for money all the time, so you can now focus on your money and just see where that is.
Really?
All right.
Yeah, yeah, so you did it for two. You have 1 minute remaining. All right, okay,
All right, well.
all right. All right, bye. Thank you for using GTL.
Press the witness.
I have no further questions.
Thank you, ma'am. You may step down. You can return to this call.
You've forgotten, my name's David, and I'm here to give you right now an opening statement for the second portion of this case, which is the defense presentation of that case. You've seen, and you'll continue to see, that this case is about evaluating each piece of this case in an objective way. We're going to call Dr. Falls to the stand. He's a psychiatrist who's board certified in forensic psychiatry, general psychiatry, and addiction medicine. Hopefully I got those right. He's here to help give you a better picture of Kody Lott and his mental illness, of the severity of that mental illness, of the delusions, the hallucinations that come along with that mental illness. And he's here to shed light and give you evidence of Kody's exact state of mind at the time of the shooting, which is at issue in this case. I expect that the government will call a psychologist in response, or what we call rebuttal. But I also expect that Dr. Falls will have given you the tools to evaluate that psychologist, to evaluate his methods, and to evaluate his opinion. I also expect Dr. Falls will have given you the tools to evaluate Kody's lengthy confession to the police. I'm not going to lie to you. This has been, and will continue to be a very emotional trial. I don't expect it to last much longer, so bear with us. But when you're given instructions by the court after the close of evidence, the court's going to give you a lot of instructions, accurate instructions. They're all important. But one of those instructions is going to be not to let bias, sympathy, or other such emotions affect your deliberations. In other words, not to let those emotions affect your decision or affect your verdict. And that, I expect you'll find, is a very, very difficult thing to do in a case like this. We don't expect anything less. But I do think you'll find that all of you are up to that task. At the close of evidence and in closing arguments, I'm going to come up here and ask you to find Kody Lott not guilty by reason of insanity. Thank you.
You may call your first witness.
Defense calls Dr. Brian Falls.
Could you raise your right hand? You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Just put the sign. Yeah, if that's not- yeah, let's just put it on the bottom side of it, right up here at the top of the mouth. There you go. Probably need to get pretty close to the mouth. Maybe it's there. Let's get it.
Go ahead and adjust that as you need to, because it's a little hard to hear. Would you state your name, please, for the record?
Brian Falls, MD.
And Dr. Falls, you're a psychiatrist.
Yes,
Where do you practice?
Austin, Texas.
And how long have, let me ask you this, where did you go to undergraduate school?
Baylor University,
And where did you go to medical school?
University of Texas Medical Branch,
And where did you intern?
Harvard Medical School, South Shore Psychiatry Residency Program.
And did you also do your residency there, or where did you do your residency?
Yes, Harvard Medical School, South Shore Psychiatry Residency Program in Boston.
And then did you practice anywhere else after Massachusetts?
I did a fellowship in forensic psychiatry at the University of California, Davis Medical Center in Sacramento, California.
And how long have you been a practicing psychiatrist?
5 years.
And have you, do you have certifications as a result of that specialty?
Yes, I'm board certified by the American Board of Psychiatry and Neurology in general psychiatry. I'm board certified by the American Board of Psychiatry and Neurology in forensic psychiatry. And I'm board certified in addiction medicine by the American Board for medicine.
And what we're discussing here would fall within forensic psychiatry.
Yes.
And can you explain to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what training you need to become a forensic psychiatrist?
Yes, well, you mentioned some of it. First, you go through medical school, which is 4-year training in medicine. And as mentioned, I did that at the University of Texas Medical Branch. And then after that, you do a specialized training program in psychiatry. And so I did 4 years, including my internship, 4 years at the Harvard Medical School, South Shore Psychiatry Residency Program I told you about. And then beyond that, I did an additional year of training in forensic psychiatry, a fellowship at the University of California, Davis Medical Center.
Now, do you also have to pass tests in order to achieve that designation?
Yes, there's many tests along the way.
And do you also have the ability as a medical doctor to prescribe medication as part of your practice?
Yes.
And is that necessary for psychiatric practice to prescribe medicine?
Is it necessary? No.
Do you have a authorization by the DEA to prescribe medication?
Yes.
And does that also require a test?
Well, you have to be an MD in the state of Texas to prescribe medications. Well, there are other mid-level providers that have prescribed coverages as well, but they're usually supervised by a physician.
What is your current occupation? I know you're a psychiatrist, but are you in private practice or what do you do?
Currently, I work as a psychiatrist doing telepsychiatry remotely from my home, providing care to people who are in facilities in California.
Now, let me ask you this. Are you licensed to practice medicine and psychiatry in the state of Texas?
Yes.
Are you licensed to practice medicine and psychiatry in the state of Massachusetts?
Yes.
Are you licensed to practice medicine and psychiatry in the state of California?
Yes.
Now, in conjunction with this case, did we ask you to evaluate Kody Lott for purposes of determining whether or not he was sane or insane on September 2nd, 2016, surrounding the shooting and death of Landavazo and the shooting of Makayla?
Yes, everything you said was correct, except that your name is Landavazo.
Did I not say that? And did you, and without getting into the opinions yet, but did you do that for us?
Yes.
Have you done other sanity evaluations for the court system?
Yes.
And have you also done what we call as competency evaluation?
Yes.
As a result of this case, did you examine Kody Austin Washington? In other words, talk to him in an interview?
Yes.
And on how many occasions did you do that?
Twice.
And did you also review other records in order to make a determination as to his sanity?
Yes.
What records did you review?
I looked at the medical records from the UT Harris County Psychiatric Center. I looked at his medical records from Rusk State Hospital. I looked at the police incident report from the Wichita Falls Police Department. Let's see what else I looked at. He had visited a facility in Houston for substance use residential treatment, and that was called Centacor. I did the records for that. And then in terms of paper records, that's what I looked at.
Now, with regard to the interview of Kody, let me ask you this. When you're conducting a sanity evaluation, and you interview a person, what's the course of that interview, or what are the type of things that you're looking for, just generally?
Just generally, you'll usually start the interview with why you're there. So you ask them their understanding of why they're there, and then you get kind of a history of the events leading up to maybe why they're there, what's been going on with them recently. Then you get an idea of their psychiatric history, and so you take a oral history from them about what has happened with them, with their any previous mental health issues or any previous treatment that they may have received, any previous psychiatric hospitalizations, any safety issues like whether they attempted suicide. And then you will also obtain a medical history, going through any medical problems that they may have, medications that they're currently prescribed or taking, any allergies to any medications. You'll take a substance use history, which includes from their first use of any substances all the way up until present. Discuss the use of the substances, the impact the substances have on their life and on their functioning. You take generally a social and developmental history, which is kind of asking them about their life from birth all the way up to the present, and who they live with, how they're raised, where they grew up, all those types of things, what they're doing now. Taking an occupational history, educational history, learning about their job, their education. And then we typically in psychiatry will also obtain a family history, which is a history of any mental health issues in family members, any history of substance use problems in family members, any history of attempted or completed suicide among family members. And then we also do what's called a mental status examination. In physical medicine, they do a physical examination. Most of us are familiar with that when they talk to the cerebral heart or poke around on the cabinet, or look at the area that we're complaining about. In psychiatry, we do a mental status examination, which is observing the individual throughout the evaluation as well, observing their emotional expression, their behaviors, things like that.
Were you able to, doctor, do that examination with Kody Lott?
Yes.
How long does an examination like that ordinarily take?
Can you write that up? What do you mean by ordinarily?
Well, I mean, is there takes hours, I presume, or?
Well, there's a clinical evaluation, which generally we may not spend as much time on as in forensic cases. And so, in a clinical setting, if you're doing an initial evaluation for somebody just the first time they're meeting them, it may take about an hour.
This type of evaluation, how long does it take?
It can take much longer. It's some of the more high-profile cases I've heard of taking 20, 30 hours over the course of several days.
How long did your evaluation or your examination with Kody?
I spent about almost 7 hours with the total.
Okay. Did you also get a history of the crime that occurred that we spoke about with Landavazo shooting?
From Mr. Lott or from other records?
From any other record?
Yes, from the Wichita Falls Police Department report. And from Mr. Lott, he told me about it.
The records you mentioned, I just want to address the Harris County records. Was that a hospitalization that occurred before September 2nd, 2016?
Yes.
And what did you glean from that, those records and that hospitalization regarding Mr. Lott?
Mr. Lott had a serious mental illness.
What was his diagnosis at the time that he was at that hospital?
They gave him a discharge diagnosis of schizoaffective disorder.
Now, is that a major psychotic illness?
Yes.
What is a major psychotic illness? Can you explain to the jury what that is?
Yeah, so a major psychotic illness is an illness in which an individual has, their brain makes it so that they lose touch with reality. And so in case of schizoaffective disorder, for example, a person can have what we call hallucinations, which are hearing or seeing things that aren't there, hearing or seeing things that other people don't hear or see. They can have, or they can even have other senses affected too, like a sense of smell or sense of taste, a sense of touch. So they can smell things maybe that aren't there, taste things that aren't there sometimes, feel things that aren't there. But generally, what we see most often is auditory or visual hallucinations, which again is seeing things that aren't there that other people don't see, like hearing noises, usually voices, that other people can't hear. People with this illness will also usually have delusions, and delusions are a fixed false belief. So that means an incorrect belief that other people in the community don't typically hold. And so, believing, for example, a person believed that they were Superman or Jesus Christ or something like that, that would be a delusion because it's not true, but it's something they believe and they can't be convinced. Usually, it's very difficult to convince them otherwise. And then people can also show what we call disorganized thought, and so they'll often have their thoughts will be very disorganized. It'll be very hard for them sometimes to put together a sentence or paragraph or make sense. But when they talk, a lot of people may have difficulty following them and understanding what they're saying. And and they can also exhibit disorganized behavior. So they might be doing things that seem strange or unusual. And sometimes those things that they're doing are in response to the hallucinations that we talked about. Like they may hear a voice telling them to do something, and they start doing something that is strange. Or they might just be doing that for no apparent reason. And then also people can, with these types of disorders, can also exhibit what we call catatonic symptoms, which is usually another form of what appears to be behavior where people will go in certain postures or do certain movements that appear strange, where they may repeat certain words over and over again, things like that. So that's what I just described to you is kind of what we're referring to when we talk about in psychotic illness. It means a loss of touch with reality because the person is having usually two or more of the symptoms that we just told you about: hallucinations, delusions, disorganized speech, and behavior, catatonic behavior.
Doctor, that's, of course, that's you described generally psychotic illness. Are there specific? Well, let me ask you this: is there a standard, a book, or a set of standard principles and criteria that categorize mental disorders?
Yes.
And what is that?
We use the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, fifth editions, also known as the DSM-5.
Is that a standard that's used throughout the United States?
Yes.
Is it also a standard used throughout the world?
Yes.
And that's the fifth edition. I assume there's been previous editions that were used at different times.
That's correct.
Now, you mentioned that Kody had a discharge diagnosis of schizoaffective disorder from Harris County Hospital. Does schizoaffective disorder have symptoms or criteria that must be identified?
Yes.
What are those criteria that you could explain?
I guess a person needs to have 2 out of 5 symptoms that I just described: hallucinations, delusions, disorganized speech behavior, or catatonic behavior. Those need to be present together during the span of a month. And then the entire illness duration has to be longer than 6 months to be able to make the diagnosis of schizoaffective disorder. In addition, schizoaffective disorder also has what we call mood symptoms. So people may have prominent depressive symptoms, which means symptoms of depression, which include depressed mood, loss of interest in things, loss of pleasure in things, loss of appetite, low energy, changes in weight, or appetite for food. And often people will have, or sometimes people will have preoccupations with death or suicidal thoughts, or even will attempt suicide. They also can have problems with sleep, insomnia, or sleeping too much.
I don't want there to be any confusion. The disorder that you talked about, schizoaffective disorder, you talked about a new component of that. That we're talking about separate, apart from depression. Is that correct? This is a different disorder than just depression.
Well, people would still have depressive episodes that look very similar to those present in major depressive disorder, but at the same time they have these psychotic symptoms that I've talked about. And
can a person with schizoaffective disorder appear and act rationally to untrained people?
yes.
Now, when you evaluated Kody Lott, did you identify any of the symptoms that you talked about here today?
Yes.
And what symptoms did you identify with Kody Lott specifically?
Mr. Lott had prominent delusions. He had beliefs that other people don't hold, that were false. He had hallucinations. He described to me visual and auditory hallucinations. He had.
Now, let me stop you there for a second. What's the difference between a visual and auditory hallucination?
Oh yeah, a visual hallucination is something that you see that's not there in reality, and an auditory hallucination is something that you hear that's not there in reality. And sometimes they can happen together.
Okay, okay, continue. What else did you see symptom-wise?
So I mentioned delusions and hallucinations. I also saw a very prominent disordered thought. So when I was speaking to him, he was rambling a lot. He was very tangential, which means he's going off on tangents in the conversation a lot. And his train of thought was very difficult to follow, very difficult to follow. He didn't make much sense at times.
What other symptoms did you observe?
Let's see. That was pretty much it during my evaluation with him. He did mention, to some degree, the depressive symptoms as well.
Is there negative?
Oh, yes, sorry. I forgot to mention the negative symptoms. Yes, so the symptoms that I mentioned thus far are all what we call positive symptoms, which means they're things that normal people don't have, but people with schizophrenia have. Our negative symptoms are things that normal people have that people with schizoaffective disorder don't typically show, and those would be like outward emotional expression. Usually people tend to be more expressionless. They can be more socially reserved or withdrawn. They can be less motivated or appear to have less energy, less goal-directed behavior, things like that. So he also exhibits some of those as well.
Did you make a diagnosis of him or concur with the schizoaffective disorder?
Yes, I made it's my opinion, with reasonable medical certainty that he meets DSM-5 criteria for diagnosis of schizoaffective disorder of depressive type.
And now, are you familiar with the legal definition of insanity in Texas?
Yes.
And what are the components of that definition?
A person has to be suffering from a mental disease or defect, and then as a result of that mental disease or defect, they have to not have a knowledge of the wrongfulness of their conduct at the time of the alleged offense.
Now, let me step away from Kody Lott for a second. And you described major psychotic illnesses. You've also described the schizoaffective disorder. Well, let me ask you this, whether or not schizoaffective disorder qualifies as a severe mental illness or defect in Texas.
Yes, it's a severe.
And is that disorder and psychotic disorder the type of disorder that would cause a person to not know what they were doing was wrong?
Yes, yeah.
Now, that's not the only disorder. There are other disorders that we haven't discussed that aren't relevant, but they would be also major psychotic disorder, is that right?
That's correct.
So the schizophrenia.
That's correct.
And would a person with a major psychotic disorder, or specifically with schizoaffective disorder, would they be able to remember what they have done?
It depends on the person. Depends upon the person. People can have cognitive deficits, pretty pronounced cognitive deficits in schizoaffective disorder, where they're unable to think properly or to remember things properly.
Now, did Kody Lott, was he able to remember the events that formed the basis of this trial? In other words, the shootings that took place September 2nd, 2016.
He recounted them to me pretty accurately in a way that was similar to the way that he told the Officer Vermillion, Officer Killingsworth, and Officer Smith.
And did he explain to you why he shot these girls?
Yes.
What did he explain?
He had a lot of reasons for doing so in his life.
Okay. Let's go with you mentioned delusions as a symptom. Was there any delusional aspect of his thought process in shooting these girls?
Yes.
What was that?
He believed that that Lauren was an angel and that she couldn't die, and that by shooting her, he was sending her to another dimension. He believed that that he was sacrificing himself and his freedom for her, for the betterment of the world, and he had a belief that there was this cosmic battle between good and evil, and that he was to get God involved. He maintained a position mostly with me that he was working for the devil or working in league with the devil, but he believed that he was getting God involved and getting God's attention so that God or Jesus would come down to earth to intervene to stop the abuse of people that he believed was going on kind of all over the world. He was mostly concerned that children were being sacrificed and things like that, and he felt that to do this would draw God's attention to this issue and that those things would stop. He also believed, he also expressed belief that, I think he said this to the officers as well, he expressed a belief that he was saving Lauren in some sense too, because he said that he believed something far worse was going to happen to her than what he did. The only thing that I recall that he said that would have been far worse was that he said that she was going to be raped at a party. He didn't mention anything else to me other than that. He may have had other ideas. I don't know.
Was there a mention also of a jealousy aspect?
Yes. In addition to he mentioned a lot of different reasons for doing it. And throughout the evaluation, he told me a lot of different things that would appear to contradict each other to a rational and logical person. And so he did have a lot of reasons that were that could be perceived as rational for doing this, and in fact he had more of those than he did thoughts that undermined his understanding of the wrongfulness. Those thoughts would be, as you mentioned, he stated that he was jealous of Lauren, and that he was jealous of what Lauren had with her boyfriend, and that he, in a sense, was lonely and angry that he didn't have that. He also mentioned that he was mad that her boyfriend ain't no man. It was the terminology that he used. I have a lot of notes on it actually, so let me look through here and see if there's a lot of things that he said if you want me to go through.
Yeah, take a moment.
He stated that it was not a spontaneous act, but a well-planned assassination. He said that he was upset that it was called a senseless act by Gerald Franklin, and he considered it a sophisticated assassination. He said that a lot of planning had gone into it. He mentioned that he had been thinking about this event kind of in some way for around a year. He said that he had done it to a degree for the thrill of it. Let's see what else. He believed that, in a sense, that the devil was going to protect him, that he would be caught for it. And so, actually, I think that, well, he had some conflicting information on that. He did say that he was surprised at first that he wasn't caught for it. He was very surprised. In fact, he thought that he was going to be caught immediately for it, because he did it in broad daylight. He did it with a number of witnesses around. And so he thought he was going to be immediately caught. When he wasn't, that's when he started believing that maybe the devil was protecting him and concealing this from people. And he thought that he would get away with it. He also believed that he was going to be rewarded by this sacrifice, that he was maybe going to get fame, money, and possibly drugs. And so those were some of the other motivations that can be perceived as rational I think there's probably more, but
And you're familiar with the efforts that he made to conceal what he had done?
yes. And let me go back. He stated that he believed that the football game occurring on that afternoon or evening would cause confusion, and that would.
Didn't hear you on that one.
He said that he believed that the football game would cause confusion, and that might help conceal, what he was doing. He reported that he had a problem with females for quite some time and stated that this was like a vent, letting off a hatred of females that he had let build up. He said, as we mentioned before, that he was jealous of Lauren and her boyfriend. He wanted what her boyfriend had with her. He said that her boyfriend enraged him. He reported that he'd been through a lot and kept hoping that things would get better, but he was jealous of her because things were only getting worse for him and things were good for her and her boyfriend.
Can I stop you right there? Did he mention that when he was watching them, when he started watching them, Lauren was in 7th grade and her boyfriend was in 8th grade in junior high?
Did
he ever mention that to you? Yeah.
I don't think he mentioned what grade they were in, no.
Okay. Did he ever mention to you that he was 20 years old at the time of the offense and Lauren was 13 and walking home from 8th grade junior high?
Yes, that was discussed.
So he knew the age of the victim?
He knew the age after, he learned of the age after the fact, and remember I was talking to him a year afterwards, but he'd learned of her age from news reports that she was 13.
He didn't tell you that the location of the offense, the murder and aggravated assault, was about 2 blocks from the junior high?
He did not tell me that.
I'm sorry, continue.
But I did know that from the report. Yep. So he said that it really boiled down to jealousy and that he killed Lauren because he was jealous of her boyfriend. He stated, as I mentioned before, that this was not a spontaneous event, it was not impulsive, it was a well-planned assassination. He said that he was upset that Daryl Franklin called it a senseless act and he considered it a sophisticated assassination. He said that he was going to put this in his skeleton closet so people would not know that they were around a killer, and he was planning on, not mentioning it to anyone if he wasn't caught.
Okay, so what he told you, was that something he told you? Or that's something that you...
No, that's something that he told, that you're talking about things that he just told me specifically?
No.
Oh, that was what he told Officer Casillas, I believe. It might have been Casillas, it might have been Kilgore.
Okay, that he was going to put this in the skeleton in his closet?
In his skeleton closet, is the way he put it, yes.
He wasn't going to mention unless he was...
He was not planning on mentioning it. After he drove away that day, he was not planning on mentioning it to anyone.
Okay, I'm sorry, continue.
He said that he killed her to prove that he was a man and to assert his manhood. He stated that he knew he had done something bad and that it hurt his heart afterwards because he thought the outcome was going to be different. He said that he did it for the thrill of it. He said that he I mentioned the vehicle. He said that he believed that he was going to be rewarded by all this, that it was a sacrifice of Lauren, that he was going to be able to be rewarded with smoking weed, having a nice house, being left alone, and having his own personal heaven. And he said that Lauren was an angel and he was taking a leap of faith by sacrificing her to the devil to get money like celebrities. He said that murder was the only thing a person could get away with and be rewarded for. He said that he believed this due to his belief that his stepfather, Brian Rowland, had gotten away with drowning women in bleach. And
So these are statements that you're saying are consistent with sanity?
these are statements that would appear to show that he had a knowledge of the wrongfulness. Isn't that what you asked?
Okay, I'm sorry, yes, sir.
I'm sorry, I thought that's what you asked. Is that correct?
Sure.
Well, I want to make sure.
Continue, it's okay.
I want to make sure I'm answering your question properly. If you were asking about insanity, I can talk about those as well.
Well, let's finish this first.
Okay. I'm sorry, I misheard the question. Would you like me to continue?
Yes, sir.
Okay. He said that he was already getting punished as if he murdered someone, so he may as well murder someone. He said that he became evil.
Excuse me, did he say why he was already being punished?
It had to do with the cult ideas and the religious beliefs. He believed that he was being persecuted and tormented. There were a lot of different things that he said about that. He said that he believed that he was being crucified, that people were torturing him, drinking
He
his
didn't
blood.
mention that he'd already been punished for something else and that murder was worth it?
During the course of the evaluation, he mentioned that he was on probation, if that's what you mean.
Did he mention anything about why he ultimately did the murder and it being worth it? Or anything to that effect?
Yeah, what I said before during examination, that he believed that Lauren couldn't actually die, that she was an angel, that he was sending her to heaven.
No, I'm talking about what you just mentioned, probation. What did he say about that?
Oh, he didn't mention it in that context, but I thought that's what you were asking about. I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question.
At any time did the defendant mention that he murdered Lauren Landavazo because murder was worth it? And you mentioned something about probation. What was that?
No, I only mentioned that because I thought that's what you were asking about. You said, did he have some other problem that he was having or some sort of legal problem, I thought.
Did he ever tell you that murdering Lauren Landavazo was something worth going to prison for?
He expressed a belief to Officers Vermillion and Officer Killingsworth that this was a sacrifice, and that by him going into jail and either being incarcerated for the rest of his life or getting the death penalty.
Yes or no, did he ever indicate that murdering Lauren Landavazo was worth going to prison?
Yes.
And then, I'm sorry, can you continue your list? If there's
He stated that he was trying to get money and get someone's attention with the sacrifice. He didn't say whose attention, but later on he did tell me various times that he was trying to get God's attention. He believed that this sacrifice could go either way, that he could be punished or he could get money from the sacrifice. And I don't remember if I said this already, but he said that he became evil to fight evil.
And that shows the wrongfulness of his acts?
You were asking me for things that indicated a mental state that would look like he knew that what he was doing was wrong, correct?
And that indicates that he knew what he was doing was wrong?
Well, he used the word evil. He was saying that he became evil.
So what you're saying is anytime he mentions the word evil, that shows the wrongfulness of his acts, the understanding of the wrongfulness of his acts?
Well, in that statement, he was acknowledging that what he did was evil. He said he became evil to fight evil, to try to fight evil.
Okay, so anytime he mentions that something's evil, or that equates to he understands the wrongfulness of his actions or his acts?
Evil is a word that we use to equate with...
No, I mean, it's your opinion, and so I'm just trying to understand what your opinion is. If he says something regarding evil, does that equate to his understanding of the wrongfulness of his acts?
I mean, I can't speak for every scenario where he ever used the word evil, because he might not even be using it in reference to himself or to this event or anything, but when he says something like that, he says, I became evil to try to fight evil, he was saying that what he was doing was evil.
And so evil in that situation equates with wrongfulness?
I mean, I think they're pretty synonymous.
Okay. I'm sorry, continue.
He said that he didn't want to kill himself. He had tried to kill himself previously. He felt like this was his only option, his only way out to avoid continued torture or persecution of himself, and also the persecution of the other people that he believed was going on. He said that he believed that getting a lethal injection was a much better choice than trying to kill himself again. He said that he wanted to have someone see what it felt like to have someone close to them taken away from them. And so I took that to mean that he wanted to see what it felt like to have Lauren taken away from her family who loves her. He said that he thought that he was...
Can I go back to that one? Can you say that one again?
He said that he wanted to have someone see what it felt like to have someone close taken away from them.
Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
He said that he thought he was going to get away with it and put it in the skeleton closet. I mentioned that already, I'm sorry. He said that he was pissed that God had, quote, fucked him, and that he had had enough. He said that when he shot her in the head, quote, I knew that I killed her, and that was in his statement to the officers in the Crimes Against Persons room at the Wichita Falls Police Department. He said that it would happen again. I believe that when he said that, he was referring to the instant offense, and that he is the problem.
Okay, when he said it happened again, does that mean that he shoots someone and kills someone again?
That was my understanding of what he said, that that was with the officers, and they didn't really clarify with him what that meant. But from watching the video and listening to it, listening to that statement and watching it, going back and watching it, that was my understanding of it. He stated it's not right referring to the murder, or at least that was in the context of the discussion of the killing of Ms. Landavazo. He said it's not right. He said that he killed Ms. Landavazo because he wanted to, quote, end the shit, meaning everything that he was going through. And at that point, he was referring to his interpersonal problems with his mother, not having money, his drug use. He said that he killed her because he had to put an end to him hassling his mother for drug money. He also said that he did it because he, quote, ran out of patience. And he called himself a few times an impatient person. He told Officer Casillas that killing Lauren was in God's plan, and that he was trying to tell God, here's my gift to you, after God sent him a bunch of bad ex-girlfriends. He called the murder a tragic event. He reported that he killed her to show people how he felt on the inside, and he said that now some other people can feel it as well. He said that she had no reason to die. She didn't do nothing wrong to me. That was his quote. He said that he could feel for her, and he said he didn't necessarily want that, didn't necessarily want the killing to happen. He said that he did it to get attention from the community, and that he, quote, sure got the birds chirping. That was in his statement to the officers. He reported that he was influenced by satanic killers such as Charles Manson and Richard Ramirez, or people that he characterized as satanic killers. He stated that he was happy that he was going to be on TV for the killing. He said that he did not want to attend Ms. Landavazo's memorial service because he was afraid that he would get caught, and also he did not want to show disrespect. And he said that he believed that he was the devil when he shot her. Again, that may not indicate wrongfulness, but the whole evil thing. And then he also stated, I feel bad I took that innocent girl's life. And those are things that I pulled out of my interview with him, and also my review of the records and my review of the interview with the officers.
And Doctor, when the defense attorney was asking you questions, you mentioned that there were more rational reasons than there were irrational reasons.
Yes, I don't know if I said rational versus irrational, but what I meant to say was there were more, if you just take up the quantity of times that he talked about different reasons, including jealousy or whatever, and you weigh those against the amount of times that he mentioned insane motivations for killing her, motivations that showed that he didn't understand the wrongfulness, yes, there were more of those in terms of number.
I believe in my notes I have that you testified before this jury that there are more rational reasons rather than irrational reasons for the murder of Lauren Landavazo and Makayla Smith.
Yeah, if I use the words rational versus irrational, I was using them in the sense of an understanding of wrongfulness. So sanity versus insanity. Knowledge of the wrongfulness of the conduct.
Sure. Austin has your notes, and we will see the jury back by 9 o'clock. Doctor, if you back here at 8:45.
The defendant did not mention the devil or act like he was suffering from a delusion during the first several minutes of his statement to the police on September 4th of 2016 when he was lying to them, did he?
No.
When the defendant, when asked by his mom and stepdad why he did it, in a telephone call that was recorded on September 4th of 2016, he didn't say the devil made him do it, or that he was hearing voices and the voices told him to kill Lauren, did he?
He did not within the first minutes, no.
He never did during that initial call, did he?
Oh, I'm sorry, we're talking about the call now. No.
And to your knowledge, did the defendant's parents ever indicate to you or anyone that the defendant mentioned the devil or satanic research that he had completed around them, or they talked about it around them at all?
His parents didn't have any knowledge of that, no.
And just because I research Christianity or the Bible, it doesn't make me Jesus Christ or God, does it?
No.
Nor does it excuse my behavior if I do kill in the name of God, does it?
No.
The defendant told you that he spent a lot of time researching the occult, Satanism, or the devil, didn't he?
I don't have a quantity. I don't know what you mean by a lot.
Okay. Or did he tell you he spent hours, or did the material that you were provided indicate that he spent several hours researching the occult?
It appeared that it would have been at least several hours.
Okay. And some of the things that he says make sense. For example, red and blue combined make the color purple, correct?
Did say that, and that makes sense.
And then if you put the number 6 plus 9 together and overlay them, they make the number 8, don't they?
Yes, 6 and 9 superimposed to make 8.
And then did he tell you, or the evidence you were provided, that the third eye he talks about represents drugs?
I'm sorry, did the third eye that he talked about represent drugs to him?
Yes, sir.
Essentially?
And I know it's a lot to remember.
Yes, he did. There were times when he spoke about the third eye representing drugs, or being related to drugs. Opening his third eye, I believe, and talking about his pineal gland, which is a gland in the brain.
And then on direct, you mentioned his drug usage, but you didn't talk about how it related to your opinion regarding insanity, did you?
We didn't get into that yet. No.
Let's talk about that. What effect, if any, did you feel the defendant's severe usage of drugs had to do with the murder of Landavazo and the aggravated assault of Makayla Smith?
Well, as I mentioned yesterday, he had a pervasive history of drug use and pervasive history of chronic mental illness, that symptoms were starting to develop of both of those around the age of 13, 14, when he was starting to use drugs. He started having some prodromal symptoms of schizoaffective disorder of a psychotic process, and that, look over here towards the chart, that the prodromal period is basically a period of time where you're starting to exhibit some symptoms, show some symptoms of social withdrawal, apathy, irritability, not being as interactive with other people, and he was starting to show some of those signs and symptoms around that time. Like I said yesterday, we can't really know in his case what came first, the chicken or the egg, in terms of substance use or in terms of the psychosis. We know that through the research on both of those that they're very closely related and associated. And so people who smoke marijuana, who start smoking marijuana earlier in life, who smoke marijuana for longer periods of time, and who use higher amounts of marijuana, with each of those, the chance of them developing a psychosis or something like schizoaffective disorder increases. And so he had a chronic history of showing symptoms of schizoaffective disorder, and these symptoms were present.
Let me stop you there. So it's voluntary, he voluntarily took the drugs. Nobody forced him to take the drugs when he was 13 or 14, did they?
Correct, he voluntarily took them.
Okay. And throughout his life, no one forced him to take the drugs, did they?
Not that I know of.
And then you said that he has cannabis use disorder, which is severe.
Yes.
And then he has opioid use disorder, severe. Is that correct?
Yes.
And all of that was voluntary on his part.
He voluntarily used opioids and cannabis.
And so that cannabis and the opioid use exacerbated his mental illness, the type of mental illness you diagnosed him with, correct?
It's likely that it did throughout the course of his mental health history.
And then you mentioned yesterday that the defendant didn't have any drugs for 60 days in his stint at UT Harris Hospital. Is that correct?
I don't know if it was exactly 60 days, but the dates were, I don't have a calendar available, but the dates were June 25th, 2015 to August 24th, 2015.
So approximately 60 days?
Yes.
Yet when he was released, he voluntarily went back to his illegal drug usage, did he not?
Yes, it resumed at some point after that. I'm not sure how soon afterwards. I would imagine because of the severity of his drug problems, it was pretty soon afterwards.
Okay, and when was he discharged from UT Harris?
August 24th, 2015.
And then the offense for which we're here today was September 2nd of 2016?
Correct.
So approximately a year after he was discharged, and during that time, he voluntarily returned to his illegal drug usage,
Yes.
which was severe in your opinion.
Yes.
And were there other illicit drugs that the defendant used or told you that he had used in his lifetime?
Yes.
And what were they?
Methamphetamine, MDMA, which is more commonly known as ecstasy, gamma hydroxybutyrate, also known as GHB, don't recall others off the top of my head,
Was
but
it heroin?
yes, heroin, yes, he used heroin. That falls into the category of the opioids. So he said that he used virtually every opioid.
Oxycontin?
Yes, Oxycontin.
Fentanyl patch? Or fentanyl?
I don't recall him mentioning fentanyl patch, but people can get their hands on those and use those. And if he told me that he used it, it wouldn't surprise me because they're all kind of in the same class, those drugs.
So ecstasy, what is ecstasy?
It's a stimulant drug that can cause people to have euphoric feelings, cause some dissociative feelings. People to feel more. People use it to oftentimes to feel more interconnected with other people. And,
Does it heighten sexual awareness or feelings?
it can, yes, it can intensify sexual urges or feelings.
And then methamphetamine, did he tell you how he ingested it? Did he shoot it? Did he?
He had used it. I believe he used it intravenously. I think he may have also smoked it.
And then GHB, is that the date rape drug?
It's colloquially known as the date rape drug, yes.
And then heroin, did he tell you how he ingested heroin?
I believe he also used heroin at some point. I think I saw somewhere that he used it intravenously, but I can't specifically recall.
And then fentanyl, can you tell us what fentanyl is?
I do know. Sorry, I do know that he did orally consume heroin, but I don't know if he used intravenously as well.
Can you tell us what fentanyl is?
Yeah, fentanyl is a patch. It's one of the strongest opioids. It's a synthetic opioid that it basically acts similarly to all the rest of them, except that it has a stronger affinity for the receptors in the brain that are called mu opioid receptors that produce effects. A mu, like the Greek letter mu opioid receptors, and those are the receptors that produce the intended effects of like euphoria or a good feeling. And then they also can have a sedating or calming effect on people. Make people tired. It's a downer medication.
Did he mention to you that he tried K2?
Yes, he had used synthetic cannabinoids as well, K2. Yes.
And then what about acid?
He mentioned that he had used LSD. Yes.
And he's been doing all of that his whole life, correct, for the most part?
Since he was 13 or 14.
And so you can't separate his drug usage from him, can you?
It's a big part of his life. Or had been until the periods where he was in psychiatric facilities or in jail.
And did he tell you what he consumed the day of the murder and aggravated assault on September 2nd of 2016?
Yes.
What did he tell you he consumed?
He stated that morning he had used 40 milligrams of hydrocodone, so 4 10-milligram tabs of hydrocodone.
Okay, if I were to take one pill of hydrocodone, it pretty much knocks me out. But a person that has this extensive drug history, do you build up a tolerance to it?
That's right. He described symptoms of tolerance and withdrawal to me, which means that his brain over time habituated to the effects of the drug.
So he could function on that amount of hydrocodone?
That's right. Yeah, he could walk and talk, and he was doing what he did on the day of the instant offense while he was on those drugs.
And did he mention he was high or euphoria or anything, make any statements how his state was before he went and shot those 2 little girls?
Yes, he used the word high. He used the word high to describe it.
And while he was under the influence of the 40 milligrams of hydrocodone, could you shoot a gun?
Somebody that's, like I said, that's used to it or habituated to it, yes.
Not a problem.
No problem.
Did he also smoke a large amount of marijuana beforehand too?
Well, large is, to me it was large, but to him it would have been actually a small amount. He smoked, I believe, I can't remember if it was 1 or 2 grams, maybe 2 grams. Let me double check here.
Is that what you said in your report?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? A lot of parentheses, could you repeat that?
Yes. But I'm just going from your.
Oh, it's my report, it's maybe you could refer me to the page. Okay,
Page
thank you.
47 and 47. Your notes.
Okay, so sorry, start over again. Oh, okay, he said that before the police got me for drugs, I wanted to get one of them, referring to Lauren.
That's what he told you.
Yeah, so the words that he said were the ones that were not in parentheses. The words that are in parentheses are what I interpreted in that. Lauren was not a police officer, so and it didn't really make the statement didn't really make logical sense to me. So that's the best way that I interpreted that statement.
Okay, let me just read this for the jury, the way that you interpret it. You said, Lott told you, before the police got me for drugs, I wanted to get one of them, referring to Lauren. Is that correct?
That was my interpretation. What he said was before.
Is that correct? Is that your interpretation?
That was my interpretation.
And then did he also tell you during your most recent interview that Kody Lott, was hoping to get not guilty by reason of insanity?
Yes.
Those were his words.
Yes, but when I talked to him previously.
No, sir, just yes or no, okay?
Well, when I talked to him previously.
The question was, were those his words? Yes or no?
Yes.
Did he not tell you also that he was not involved in Satanism, but he just researched it?
He told me that, I guess, when I met with him the second time.
And typically, when you're looking whether somebody's insane or not at the time of the offense, you look shortly before the offense, during the offense, and after the offense, do you not?
Yes.
So let's go before the offense. The defendant formed a plan, correct?
Yes.
The defendant watched the victim for a year, Lauren, which he watched her walk home from school.
Yes.
He waited until his parents were out of town so he could get the loaded semi-automatic rifle from their apartment.
Yes, that's true.
He chose what type of semi-automatic rifle to use to commit the murder.
That's correct.
He chose the .22 rifle so that he wouldn't mutilate Lauren from using the .223, correct?
That's correct. That was part of his sacrifice.
And then he prepared, did he not?
He had some preparation, some preparation.
Okay, so he had to go to his parents' house and then get the key to the gun safe and then also use a screwdriver to pry it open because it was flush to get the weapon, did he not?
Well, the report that I read said that he believed that he had to use the screwdriver, but Brian Rowland actually said that the safe was broken or the key alone would work.
The defendant told the police that he used the key and a screwdriver to get it open.
That's correct.
He left the parents a note for when he got caught or arrested.
Yes, he believed he was going to get caught, so he left his parents a note. I think that said something to, you asked me earlier what it said, and I think it may have said something to the effect of, that he was the one that did it.
When did you remember that?
I seem to recall him saying that somewhere.
In your notes?
Don't recall.
He placed the rifle in a bag and he threw clothes over it so people would think it was a baseball bat and that he was going to baseball practice. Is that correct?
I wasn't aware of the baseball practice part, but he did mention that I'm not sure if I'm not that familiar with guns, but the handle of the gun would appear like a baseball bat. Or
The butt of the gun?
Butt of the gun, that's it.
Then he racked the weapon before he left the apartment so he could be ready to commit the murder.
You said wrapped.
Racked.
Wrapped?
Racked the weapon.
Okay, I'm sorry, repeat the whole question.
Sure. Did he, prior to committing the offense, he was in his parents' apartment. After getting the weapon, the murder weapon, from the gun safe, he racked the weapon, getting it ready to shoot.
W-R-A-C-K-E-D?
Yes, sir.
I'm not familiar with what that firearm terminology.
Have you heard of the phrase locked and loaded?
Yes.
You're ready to go?
Yes.
That's pretty much what you do.
Okay, so he had it ready to go. I think he said he had the safety on, but
Does that not tell you that he knows right from wrong by putting the safety on? There's no accidental discharge that way. He's not going to harm himself or shoot himself. If you put the safety on, that's for your safety, not for anybody else's, right?
I don't understand what that has to do with psychotic understanding of wrongfulness.
If I didn't know what I was doing, I would assume I would get the weapon and then just go outdoors and shoot everybody up.
Yes,
I wouldn't take the time to put it on safety before I get in a vehicle and drive down the street to shoot somebody.
You're speaking maybe more of the nature and quality of that, not the wrongfulness of the act. You had psychotic beliefs that undermined
I'm
his
just talking
ability to
common
understand
sense
the
rule of law.
wrongfulness of the
One
act.
at a time, please.
Okay, when I ask you a question, you have to answer it. You can't keep going on. I let you do that for a little bit. But when I ask you a question, it's yes or no. Please answer yes or no. Okay?
Your Honor, I'm going to object. She can go ahead and make objections to the court. She doesn't need to instruct the witness. Overruled.
And so he put the weapon on safety. Do you know why a weapon has a safety button on it?
Yeah, so that, as you mentioned, so that it does not accidentally discharge
And hurt himself.
or shoot or make noise and draw attention to it. I don't know.
Okay, hold on, doctor. If he's in a room in an apartment by himself and he puts the safety on, it's only so that he doesn't accidentally discharge and hurt himself, correct? There's no one else around.
It's so that it
Yes
doesn't
or no?
accidentally discharge.
Yes or no? You put a safety on so that it's safe that you don't harm anyone else, correct?
You don't want the firearm to
Yes or no?
discharge.
Your Honor, I'm going to object to requiring yes or no. He's allowed to explain his answer.
on that question.
Yeah, it's my understanding that safety, I'm not a firearms expert, but it's my understanding that safety is used so that the weapon doesn't accidentally discharge. And if a bullet goes off, it could hit someone, including yourself.
And if you're in an apartment by yourself, the only one you could hurt is yourself, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, that's it. And then, before he murders and shoots Makayla Smith, murders Landavazo and shoots Makayla Smith, he watched them from inside the apartment, being inside the apartment to avoid detection and looking suspicious, sitting outside with a gun, would you say?
I would say that sitting outside with a gun would be suspicious, yes.
And so, waiting inside is an indicator you know right from wrong because you don't want anybody to suspect you. Tell you that, you may not know this because you didn't read the text, but he texted his mother that he didn't know any of the details of the shooting when she inquired.
I do not have that information, but it seems consistent with his other behavior of not telling anyone and not telling his parents. But I believe I did know about a phone call that had happened between them shortly thereafter he denied any involvement. Like from his mother. She called him after from radio, so 2 minutes ago.
And so he also checked social media and news media constantly for details of the shooting until he was caught.
He followed the story pretty closely. I don't know about constantly, but
Okay, well, you don't know what the text say or what the extraction from the phone is, do you?
to me, constantly indicates like every moment of every day, and I wouldn't say that he was doing that, but I think he was following it pretty closely.
How can you say that if you don't have the information from his phone?
Because he had to have done things like go to the bathroom, smoking, he was still smoking, he was still using at that time, I believe, so he had to have been doing other things.
But you don't know because you haven't looked at the extraction from his phone, do you?
I have not seen the extract information from his phone.
Did you know he looked up the victim's Facebook along with her boyfriend's Facebook so he could learn their names?
From the material I reviewed, I thought he learned their names from the news report.
But you don't know again because you don't know the internet history on his phone, correct?
I don't have any of his internet phone history.
And then, once he realized the police were looking for the wrong suspect vehicle, he came back to town when it was dark. He did not.
I don't recall, but
You're not disputing that, though.
if you're saying that's the case, then I will not dispute it.
And then, once Mr. Lott realized he wasn't going to get caught, he destroyed the note he wrote when he thought that he was going to be caught or arrested.
That's correct.
And then, when he hadn't been caught and he knew they had a different suspect vehicle, he went back not once but twice to retrieve the murder weapon that he'd thrown in a vacant field.
That's correct.
And then Mr. Lott, the defendant, goes back to his parents' house and puts the murder weapon back so they didn't know it was missing when they returned home.
That's correct. He didn't bother to wipe off the dirt or the grass that was on it, but he could replace it.
And then also before he got out of his vehicle when he was returning the murder weapon, he wrapped it in a blanket so as to conceal it, correct?
Yes.
And then he also, and I don't know if you know this, but there's testimony that he stuck it under his arm and walked with it by his side, looking around to see if anybody noticed him as he walked to apartment 179.
It seems vaguely familiar. It wouldn't surprise me consistent with the other years.
And that would show you know right from wrong because you're concealing it and looking around to make sure people don't see you when you're returning the murder weapon. Correct?
Concealing a weapon is an indicator of one of many that we talk about indicators that indicates motive weapons.
Another indicator is it not after leaving the apartment and the defendant's pulled over by an officer, he's clutching the steering wheel so hard his, the whites of his knuckles are showing.
I recall that being mentioned.
And also, during the traffic stop, he was able to coherently answer all the officers' questions about where he'd been and why he'd been at his parents' house because they were in Ruidoso. Or you don't know because you haven't seen that stop, right?
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
During the stop, he was able to coherently answer all the officers' questions about where he had just been and why.
I did read that in the rich stop office report.
And the jury will be able to see this soon, but when you think a detective is giving you a detail of a crime, he's able to incorporate it into a lie, does he not? Such as the .22 spent shell casing that was found in his vehicle.
But yes, he lied about several things, especially during the early portion of the interview.
The fact that he knows enough about the facts of the case that he tried to incriminate not one, but two innocent individuals in his statement to law enforcement.
He kind of implicated Marlon Rader. I'm not sure who the second individual
His
was.
stepbrother, Jordan Rowland, who also had access to his stepfather's vehicle and was there to get a weapon. You remember that?
Yeah, I didn't know that that's where he was going with that, but that's the way he interpreted it, and I think that's fine to interpret it that way. He certainly was trying to take the
The
attention
jury's going to get to hear it and they can make whatever decisions they want. The fact that he uses the term caught in murder, that indicates that you know the wrongfulness of your actions, doesn't it? Yes or no?
Saying the word caught in murder would indicate that the person understands the wrongfulness of what they did.
The fact that he brings up the reward money and the amounts to officers also indicates that he's looking at the stories, doesn't it? In the news.
He was aware of the reward amounts. In his opinion, should have been higher. And he was pretty aware of the source of the news.
And he was also aware that the first 48 hours in a murder is crucial to solving the murder case, correct?
They mentioned a TV show that I hadn't seen called 48 Hours. I believe that's what it's called. And he mentioned that he didn't think he was going to be caught in the first 48 hours, so that he didn't think that he might be caught at all. But I don't know about the exact statement that he made.
It's in his statement. And then does he not tell officers that he was going to keep the murder a secret?
I'm sorry, could you repeat one more time?
He told the officers, did he not, that he was going to keep the murder a secret if he hadn't been caught?
He did. He said, as I said yesterday, he was going to keep it in the skeleton closet and not mention it to anyone.
Did you know that the defendant told Dr. Randall Price that he did not hear voices on the day that he murdered 13-year-old Lauren Landavazo and shot Makayla Smith?
That's correct. He reported to him that he heard voices the day before, but not on the day of the offense.
And you know a person is presumed sane. You testified to that.
That's correct. We can legally presume sane.
And you know the defendant has the burden of proof to prove the defendant was insane at the time of the offense.
That's correct.
In your professional medical opinion, there are more reasons an defendant knew that his actions were wrong on September 2nd of 2016 when he committed the murder and aggravated assault of two junior high school girls who were simply walking home from school than otherwise.
Quantitatively, that's correct.
After hearing more evidence and reviewing Dr. Price's report, would you consider changing your opinion as to the defendant's sanity?
No.
Absolutely.
Doctor, we talked a lot about the aspects of knowing the wrongfulness of his actions. Let's turn and talk about the actions where he does not know that his conduct is wrong. Can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what you determined were actions or conduct that indicated that Kody Lott did not know the wrongfulness of his actions in shooting his